term mega implies the factor of 1 million, or 10 to the 6th power. In computing terms, the term mega denotes an even greater 2 to the 20th power. In terms of candy, the term mega is much more ambiguous. But one insinuation is that before taking on a mega version of a snack, you should first consult professionals. That's where we come in. Today, we examine the Mega Smartie and pit it against a pair of contenders as we ask, you tried that? You tried that. I'm Nick Novak with my pals Chad Hancock,
Howdy.
Nick Geiger.
Hello.
Should I have said mega howdy?
You should have. You fucked up.
God damn it. I did it again.
Chad, is it true that you were the inspiration for Mega Man from the video game?
That is not true. I was the inspiration for Leaf Man, one of the villains from Mega Man 2, because you know how much I love fall foliage.
Right.
All right. This better not be the runner of the thing, because I know none of them but Mega Man. So.
I played a lot of Mega Man.
No surprise there. Right.
Surprise.
Yeah. That's I assumed that. That's why I made the joke to you. But
so we're recommitting here to talk more about food, which is why
what?
Chad.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that?
I didn't sign up for that.
Chad, you recently went out to eat, right? So tell us all about that. Don't stray from the food.
Yes. This is definitely a story about food and not a story about someone having a medical incident. So just as a preface to the story, everything's fine. She's fine. So we can laugh about it. But went out to brunch a couple weekends ago, actually, when friend of the podcast, Chrissy, was out visiting. You know, we recorded a Papua New Guinea episode with her that weekend, and we were sitting. We went to brunch at this place called Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is one of my favorite breakfast places in San Francisco. And we're there with also my wife and my daughter, sitting there in the high chair, charming everybody in the restaurant. And there's a pair of women, 2 tables over, sitting across from each other. They've just gotten their food, and I don't want to say, just to paint a picture, it was like a very mismatched pair. Let's put it that way. Like the one woman was like, maybe they were coworkers or something, but the one woman was like maybe early 20s, like tons of makeup on, you know, like she honestly looked like she was ready to go out to the club at 10 in the morning. And then the other woman was kind of like a little older, like not just wearing regular clothes, like just looked like a regular person. So it's just sort of like interesting.
It's a long way to say one was hot.
No, actually, nope, not true.
Okay.
So anyways, the non-club going one, the regular looking one, we're just sitting there having a conversation. All of a sudden I hear her yell out, and I look over, and she makes, like, her face contorts in such a way that, like, you know when somebody like presses their face like up against a glass window, and like their cheek just kind of smushes and like their mouth goes off to the side? Like, that was basically exactly what happened to her face. She's like, argh! And then slowly like Tim Bird out of the chair and like smashed on the ground. And started like convulsing, right? Like, so she was having a seizure. So because we were only like 2 tables away, I just like, I know, so funny.
Like we said, folks, committed to talking about food.
And comedy. So I jump up out of the chair and like run over, right? And like, I'm not trying to say that like I'm, you know, some kind of like trained medical professional, but I did get first aid training once a couple years ago and have forgotten most of it. But I figured like, oh, well, maybe like, you know, I could help or something. So I go running over.
Possibly do more damage, or could I?
Yeah.
So I jammed an EpiPen right in her neck.
I run over because I see that her plate of waffles is unoccupied. So
it was first aid, not first aid.
Yeah, I had first aid training. I just kept taking the class over and over and over again.
This lady really better be okay, or we're gonna look like assholes.
So I'm kneeling over this woman, right? Like trying to see like if there's anything I can do. And then another guy who maybe was a doctor or something, he also comes running over next to her. And I see the woman, like, she starts to turn like ghostly white, like completely pale and stuff. Like I've never seen somebody's skin like that color before. And honestly, for like a second, I thought I was watching somebody die. Like it was really, really scary.
You
for
still
a
ate
sec.
the waffles. It's like
But
looking down like, holy shit.
So, and I was like, I added a little color to her skin by drizzling some syrup on it. But you know, there used to be a thing when somebody was having a seizure where you're supposed to like put something in their mouth, you know, like maybe a spoon or something like that to keep them from biting their tongue. But you're not actually supposed to do that anymore because I think they can like choke on it or injure themselves even worse.
Plus you need it to finish the meal.
Right.
Yeah. Plus my spoon was scooping up her scrambled eggs.
Were you putting a waffle in to make sure you didn't bite your tongue?
So
I'm safe, don't worry.
So but I think people don't know that, right? That you're not really like supposed to do that. So I have somebody like at another table like, we need to put like a spoon in her mouth, you know, but nobody has a spoon because a lot of times at brunch you just have like a fork and knife, right? So like I look over and somebody's like trying to shove a fork into my hands, like I'm supposed to take this fork and like put it in, like jam it into her mouth. And I remember like Chrissy said something later where she was just like, imagine if this woman was like actually dying and she's lying there on the ground and her final vision is my dumbass face like shoving a fork at her. Like how horrible of a way would that be to go? But anyway, so yeah, so the ambulance came and everything, and she started to like sort of return to normal. Like by the time the paramedics got there and everything, she was like sitting up and talking and everything. So I go back to my seat and I just see the other woman that she was with, who looked like she was ready to go to the club, honestly seemed like so annoyed that she wasn't going to get to finish her breakfast. like she didn't really seem that concerned for her friend. She was like asking the waitress, can you box this up and get me the check? I guess I gotta go to the hospital.
Were you also concerned that you wouldn't be able to finish your breakfast?
Your part in this was like fumbling with utensils.
Yeah, I ran over there and like stopped her head slightly from, you know, convulsing on the cement floor, and then someone handed me a fork and I handed it back to them, and then about 10 different people asked me if she was pregnant because like all these people called 911, right? And like the 911 operators are running through the exact same script with all like the same set of questions with every person, and like one of the questions is like, is she pregnant? And so I have all like literally 4 people asked me within the span of a minute if she was pregnant, and I'm like, fuck do I like I mean I guess I could make her pregnant real quick if you want, but like I don't know. Like how much, this is what a ridiculous thing to ask me. That was my contribution. The other guy was much more helpful. He was like checking for a pulse and stuff like that.
That story reminds me of a story Novak was present for, just of like people who don't like trying to help and don't exactly know what they're doing. So we were playing softball one night, and one of the guys on the team, really like the nicest human on earth, was running to first base. And the shortstop or the second baseman, I remember, who just threw the ball as hard as he could and went way up the first baseline, and like like horrible timing, just socked him full on in the eye socket, and he just dropped, and he's just laying on the ground.
Oh, Jesus.
And he ended up breaking like a bone in his eye or whatever. But I mean, he is fine. The same thing. He's fine now. He's back to playing. He's a funny guy, all that.
But he was unconscious right then.
He's yeah. But we
did he have any waffles that you could finish?
He got waffled with that ball. But he's laying on the ground, and like he literally just dropped. We all thought like unconscious or dead. And so we ran up, and he's just laying there like, "Ugh," and like we have another friend on the softball team is like, get out of the way, get out of the way. He's like waving everyone out and grabs some ice packs, and it's like those kind you have to kind of like break to activate them. So he gets right like
He's the type of guy. He's the type of guy who acts like he should be in charge of every situation, but really has no knowledge to be in charge of the situation.
So he kneels down next to this guy's face, puts these ice packs like an inch from his face, and is cracking the crap out of him. And he's also kind of an ogreish dude, so he's a very big, strong guy, and he just goes, "Krah!" And it rips in half, and all this goo shoots out of the guy's face, and he goes, "Oh!" We didn't know if he was okay, but we were trying really hard not to laugh. It was so fucking weird. It turned out he was fine.
It's not. Ice pack just comes all over his face.
That's exactly what it was. It's funny. And actually, what struck me as so weird right then is like, I'm like, I don't know what's happened to this guy. Like, he could have brain damage or something. But as soon as that happened, like, there's just some instinctual part of you that like laughs immediately. Like, you can't help but laugh.
Yeah, his last words were, "Oh!" But I mean, it was worth it. It was a hilarious beat to the joke.
It's definitely good that I wasn't there, because like if somebody would have been like, put a steak on his eye, and I would have just been like eating the steak.
Stuff a softball bat in his mouth. What?
We were joking later that he'd be like, "Oh yeah, the bone in my head feels fine, but my eyes are burning. I don't know why."
Oh yeah, no, that's a post-concussion thing. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, let's get to eating some snacks. We have
Hey guys, enough food talk. Let's get back to the snacks.
we have three great snacks to try. We rate them on a 5-point scale. It's a love dat, like dat, indifferent to dat, dislike dat, and hate dat. Let's take the main course here and try the chicken stick first. So everybody grab your chicken stick. This is the Chef's Cut Buffalo style chicken stick. We've tried some Chef's Cut before. Pretty sure we tried a turkey one.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of Chef's Cut, right?
Yeah, we have. We definitely have never done a chicken. Have you guys had chicken jerky before?
No.
I don't think so.
Why would I choose chicken jerky if beef jerky is available?
Healthier? I don't know.
Right. Beef jerky, obviously, I think it's the best choice for a reason. We tried the turkey stick, I remember, and it just was too dry, like you might imagine would be the case.
It was too dry, yeah. It had like no snap or anything to it. This has a very pungent odor.
Oh yeah. Do you guys like buffalo chicken style stuff? I actually really like it. I love buffalo wings and stuff like that.
What exactly does buffalo style mean? That was my question. Like, is this like the meat from sauce. BW3 that they just ground up or something? Like, what?
It just means wings.
Like,
it's wing meat. No, it's the buffalo sauce that goes on the outside of a wing. That's what buffalo stuff is. So it's I think it's just hot sauce and vinegar or something. It's like a real simple buffalo sauce is real simple. I just can't remember what the ingredients
This does have a little tiny bit of a kick to it.
Yeah, it does.
Just the slightest.
It's like at the end too. Like you don't taste it upon chew. It's more on the swallow.
It doesn't really taste like buffalo sauce though.
No, not at all. It's kind of a thicker than some beef jerky you'll see. This one is 45 calories. Geiger, once you start us off, tell us your rating. What you think about it?
I do like the flavor. Of course, it's a little spicier, and we all know I like spicier stuff. I would say same as the turkey. I'm trying to remember how the turkey tasted. It still just seems dry. There's something about it. It's a little more.
This is not as dry as the turkey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure the turkey was drier, but it still doesn't seem as, I don't know, savory or the different mouthfeel than the beef would have. There's no real snap to it to me. It's still a pretty soft stick. That just might be the style of these sticks. Maybe the beef one's just like that too. But I guess it's an indifferent to that. It's all right. But again, I think I stand by my previous statement. If I'm going to the jerky or meat stick aisle, there's really no reason to take a chicken stick. Although, again, I think the flavor was the best thing about it. I like the heat from it. I just don't like kind of the texture and the texture and the it's too soft for me.
So wait, what was your rating? I missed it there.
Indifferent to dat.
Oh, indifferent to dat. All right. Start with an indifferent Chad, what do you think?
I'm actually thinking the exact opposite.
The opposite of
I don't
indifferent?
mind the consistency. Yes,
Strong
the opposite
opinion.
of indifferent, which is very, yeah, very strong opinion. I would never have strong opinions about anything. I think the flavor is the problem. I don't mind the consistency. I like the texture. I think that's good. If this was like a barbecue, I think I would like it. But I don't like the heat, and the flavor itself I think is bad. So I'm actually gonna go down to a dislike that.
Okay. I disagree with both of you guys. I like this much better than the turkey. It is not as dry. The heat is making it better for me. I know it's similar. There's not a lot of heat. It's similar to like the amount of heat on a very standard set of buffalo wings. Not that it tastes just like that, but it's just a mildish kind of heat. And I think it's making it better. It's more likely that I would eat this again because of that. And I do kind of I like the taste. So I am actually going to give it a like that. I was a little surprised. I wasn't expect. I see what you mean about the texture. It's like slightly grainy, and just I think we're so accustomed to what beef jerky should feel like texture wise, and this they probably just can't make the chicken and turkey that same way. But this is decent for my taste. So we are spread out there.
Right.
Run the gambit with an average of an indifferent. So a decent start. It will be in the running. We'll save the chocolate for last. Let's do the Mega Smarties. So this is the giant roll of Smarties, and Smarties. If you don't remember, sometimes they're mistaken of sweet tarts and things like that. Are just the cylindrical shape, little like coin-sized candies that you would get at Halloween a lot. Do you guys like, before we eat them, do you like the original small Smarties?
I probably haven't had an original Smarties since I was trick or treating, which you know, in before. Oh, you were trick or treating last year because you like, since I was like a little kid, probably. So like maybe when I was like 15 was the last time I trick or treated. I think I always just like immediately like discarded them. So I really don't remember what Smarties taste like. I think I never gave a shit about them as a kid.
Geiger?
I like them okay. My kids like them a lot. My son went to one of those like Dave and Buster's style arcade places, and he had a bunch of tickets. And one of the things he used was they had a giant like Smarties like container, looked like it held like architectural drawings, and it was like 50 packs of Smarties in there. So we've had a bunch around the house. They're fine. I mean, they're not my favorite candy or anything, but I don't mind a small Smartie. But I think it's also because you can kind of pop a bunch in your mouth, get a bunch of different flavors, grind it up. These look like it's going to be work to eat these. These are like so chalky looking. I don't know.
That was my question: are the different colors different flavors?
I think so. Yeah, if it's like regular Smarties.
I think so too. I actually really like the regular Smarties, and I ended up eating a lot of them because you get where we get them a lot at is parades, because they don't hand out chocolate at parades generally because it melts. So you end up getting like a lot of Skittles and things like that, and so Smarties is frequently included in that. And I do like the small ones, but I agree, I'm a little worried about the bigger ones. Because
I could say right now, it's just so much more tart because there's so much of it. Whereas like a tiny little Smartie, you just pop it in your mouth and it's gone.
It's really tart.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting that.
It's not necessarily bad. They're just really strong.
you guys are both like wincing.
I'm getting that eye twitch you get when it's like...
Eye twitch? Are you about to have a seizure?
Get the fork.
I'm having a
Grab
seizure.
his Smarties. Chad, give him first date.
Break that chicken stick off her face.
All right, you're up first, Chad.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected. I think I thought they would be sweeter. I didn't expect them to be that tart. These are unpleasant to eat. Like, it's not a good eating experience. It's like too much. It's overwhelming. I don't actually know what the flavor is other than chalk. I ate 2 of different colors. Couldn't tell the difference between the 2 flavor-wise. Not going to eat a third to find out. These are a very, very strong dislike that from me.
All right. All right. They are a lot worse than the regular Smartie. No doubt about it. Some are better than others. If you get like one of the purple ones, I think it's a little more tolerable. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to be able to finish this entire package. If you could, that would actually be very impressive because I ate like 3 of them.
It'd also be a shitload of calories. Like 2 tablets is 25 calories.
You'd have diabetes by the end of this thing.
It is a bit much. However, I do like the regular Smarties. It reminds me a bit of them. Your rating's not wrong with the dislike. I can see that. I am going to slide it up to a low level, indifferent to Dat. Geiger, where do you fall?
Mostly downstairs. Oh, you meant where's my ranking fall? I get it now. I'm just here for bad Catskills humor. Sorry.
Rim shot.
Yeah. Take my wife, for example. No, seriously, take her.
Take her so I can have her breakfast.
I'm kind of more leaning toward Novak, although I understand completely everything Jed said. So I'm over here like my eyes half shutting every time I eat one of these things. It's just so tart, but I keep going back for more. I've had 3 of them. I think it's just you're right. I'm having mini seizures as these are coming in to my mouth. And that's how you talk about eating food, right? Food coming into your mouth. That's what normal humans say, not at all aliens pretending to be human. I like them in a way. I could not eat more than, say, 2 or 3. I think I'm at my limit already. They're so big. They're unwieldy. It's too much. It's way worse than a regular Smartie. But for some reason, I want to grab a 4th one, and I don't know why. So I for that reason alone, I will give it a mild like that. The flavor is still the flavor of Smarties. If you like the flavor of Smarties, it's good. It's just a lot of Smartie all at once. So I don't know. It'd be like taking the whole roll of Smarties and popping in your mouth at once, which you can do that. I wouldn't recommend it. So I'll give it a mild like that. I actually don't mind these at all.
Okay. So we're all tied up.
All tied.
Mm-hmm. Just with the 5-star bar to go. All right. Segment time. This week's segment, we're going to head back to the old news and views. This is news and views. We're going to share a couple stories. You guys are going to tell me which story you think is worse. Okay. This is the news and views balls edition. Okay, so
got it.
Awesome. I am ready for
all
balls.
Right. First story is titled, it's from the New York Post. Man delivering food allegedly dips testicles in salsa over low tip.
Oh.
I'm going to read it to you.
Wait a minute. Huh?
This Tennessee man took...
What's the low tip? The amount of money he got, or does he have a low tip of his penis?
Yeah. A low tip of his penis.
Yep, the old low tip of your penis. That means he has a giant dick because his tip is hanging very low.
The first line is great. This Tennessee man.
That's what it means.
Okay, all right,
Does this guy have a huge hog?
The first line is, this Tennessee man took double dipping to another level while delivering food from a Mexican restaurant. Howard Matthew Webb, 31, is accused of putting both his testicles in a customer's salsa container ordered last month from a Maryville restaurant. He was arrested Friday after a 14-second video surfaced of his revenge against a low-paying customer. So he did this and also recorded it and posted it like a jackass.
Genius.
Police said Webb was a passenger in the vehicle when the order was delivered January 12th by an independent contractor from Dinner Delivered, an online meal service. The driver allegedly filmed Webb placing his testicles in the customer's salsa and posted a video saying, "This is what you get when you give an 89-cent tip for an almost 30-minute drive." And then why his balls were in the salsa said, "Oh, it feels so good."
There's some poor journalism guy right now, a journalist, just going like, I went to school for this. Like, this is just like quoting some hick about how good his balls felt in salsa.
That driver was also telling me that when somebody's having a seizure, you're supposed to dip your balls into their mouth to stop them from biting their tongue.
Now, wait a minute. How did he already know what tip he was going to get? Or is this like a habitual
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's totally unexplained.
that
so I don't know if they like forgot the salsa, or maybe they just tip online, like because you order online, you like enter the tip with your yeah
pre-tip.
Lubed with
Yeah.
pre-tip is what I
Yeah.
think. So
You lose.
the next,
Jesus
all right,
Christ.
that's first story. So is that worse,
Uh-huh.
better or worse than this? That guy's first reason is the low tip. So the next guy, this article is teenager rubbed his junk on patron's pizza. There's the second one.
I'm sensing a theme. It's balls.
Right.
Balls,
It's balls.
with a Z.
Right. So angered that a customer called in a pizza order right before closing time, a Texas teenager allegedly rubbed his genitals on the patron's pie as he prepared the takeout order. Brent Bradley told cops that when he arrived at Papa Murphy's Pizza in Georgetown, he spotted worker Austin Michael Simons rubbing his testicles on the pizza he had ordered. So, the
You're
customer
still doing it when the guy got there?
So it continues. When confronted by the customer, who was there to pick up a large stuffed pie with Canadian bacon, pineapple, and extra cheese,
Nutsack.
the 18
Do they have Fromunda cheese on it?
Let me guess. Did he say, I didn't order meatballs?
That's not the kind of stuffed pizza I wanted.
So here's the response that the kid gave. The 18-year-old Simons immediately apologized. Man, I am really sorry. That was stupid. And so the customer's response, in quotes, is he asked him how old he was. The guy said 18. And here's in quotes, so you're old enough to know better than to put your balls on someone's pizza.
I'm pretty sure at any employable age is technically old enough to know not to put your balls
Look,
on
if
a
you were
pizza.
17, I'd be like, wipe those balls all over every slice. But at 18, you know better.
And then apparently the guy just went out and admitted why he did it was because the guy called right before closing time. And then it says Simons acknowledged that he, quote, probably would have given Bradley the order had he not seen him rubbing it on the pizza. Like he would have just gone through with it. So
This kid is also a coward of the highest orders to me. Like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, look, I was just mad because you called an order in too late. I'm sorry. Shit, I probably would have given it to you still. Just arrest me now.
He just immediately confesses his entire life story, like Chunk and Goonies or whatever.
No, okay. I can't even use my age as an excuse. I had to talk with my parents just like everyone does as soon as I turned 18 about not rubbing your genitals on people's pizzas.
So, all right, there you have it. Two separate stories. Which one is worse?
I think this is pretty clear cut, but
Well, then what do you say, Geiger?
Which one? Yeah.
So to me, okay. This we always have to add the caveat. These are both horrible, okay, and they both should be fired and forced to eat salsa off of people's nutsacks, but as punishment. But no, so to me, the pizza guy is way worse because it's just such a dumb reason. Okay, like you are paid to work a certain amount of time. We've all worked in restaurants, and yes, we all get annoyed when someone comes in at 11:59 or whatever it is, right before closing time. But you're still supposed to be there until that time. You're getting paid to be there till that time. And then also to just be so dumb as to still be doing it as someone walked in the store. Like you could have very just easily just withdrew your junk and pulled your pants up. Like, hey, cleaning something behind the counter here. Oh, is there a big phallus-shaped hole in the cheese? Don't worry about it. Why do you have red stains all over your white pants as part of your uniform? I got my period. Don't worry about it. But this other guy just dunking his balls in the salsa, that's not great. That's also very bad. But I can see why you'd be like... But I can see why you'd be... He has... I mean, an 89-cent tip on a 30-mile drive or 30-minute drive is bad. And I feel like he would have, on the scale of like slightly more justified response, in a case of two idiots, I think he's a little more justified.
All right. Chad, you going to agree or disagree?
I disagree. I think this also one's worse, and here's why. Because if you're right that pizza kid was really stupid, he definitely should have put his low tip away before the guy came in. But These other people were even dumber because they filmed it and put it on the internet.
That's true.
That's the thing that puts them like a cut below, is like, you're so fucking stupid that you filmed this and put it on the internet. So I think those people are worse.
I'm going to side with Chad on that factor. And actually, the deciding factor is one guy's 18, which we all did stupid crap when we were 18 years old. And the driver putting his balls in the salsa was 31, which is not a good sign.
Yeah, that's another great point.
I suppose also you can say, I mean, it's a possibility that someone could eat the pizza and not eat the slice that the guy's dick was on. But if your ball's just in a bowl of salsa, you're eating ball when you're dipping that chip.
I guess that's you'd have to know which one. You'd have to be like, no, I'll just take it. I'll just eat the ones that you didn't put your balls on.
All right, I'm going to slice it up here. All I'm saying is don't eat slice number 8, okay? Oh, why's that? Just don't worry about it. That amount of pubes on top?
I see you rubbing your balls on it. Alone. But please, just, I'm in a hurry, so
well, with the salsa,
I won't eat that slice.
I'm still really hungry.
With the salsa, couldn't you just like scoop the top layer of tomatoes off, and then the rest of it is good to go?
No, good to go. The guy's got a low tip, so it definitely probably reached the bottom of the salsa.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the balls edition of News and Views. So it was the shocking part was how easy it was. I found one story like that, and how easy it was to find another one.
Oh, I have no doubt.
I mean, we've worked in food service, all of us, and like none of what I hear, the crap that goes on, surprises me. And the chances are that all of us at some point have eaten like a ton of scrotum residue over the course of our lives.
Remember we had that scrote cheese menu item at one time? Did you, how many, you guys be honest, okay? Because the statute of limitations has passed. How old were you and how often did you routinely dump your junk in your customers' food? Like once a night, twice a night?
I was actually trying to think when we were in Lone Star. Like, I don't remember actually seeing anybody ever really like fuck with anybody's food. Like beyond just like, oh, I know this person's steak is overcooked and like I'm gonna bring it out to them anyways or whatever. Like I don't actually remember seeing anybody retaliate.
I mean, there's probably little stuff like people just grabbing croutons with their hands and throwing it on instead of like the scoop or whatever. Sure. And yeah.
But I don't think I ever even saw anybody like spit in somebody's soup or something like that.
I think one of our friends at another listener of the podcast said he has seen like a steak hit the floor and someone put it back on the plate or something. Right. That's about the grossest thing I can think of. But
I was actually, when it comes to like ball work at the restaurant, I was known for my tableside service, so I would just come right out.
You're like, would you like some tableside balls? What? You just like slowly like knead the food against your nutsack and then put it down.
My opening line at every table was like, "Welcome to Lone Star. Don't leave me a low tip unless you want to see my low tip." And I whipped my dick out. Just flopped it right on the table.
Wait, so they said, "I'm going to give you a low tip anyway," and then you just flopped your dick out?
I flopped it out and covered it with the menu before I said that. So
no, Mac, remember that
easier
time
to reveal.
Remember that time you laid your dick out on a plate and you covered it with cheese fries and then just like walked real awkwardly and laid it on the edge of the table and just kept standing there? Like, why don't you try the cheese fries? And just waited till they ate and then ran into a big veiny cheese fry at the bottom?
There's an extra big fry for you down at the bottom. Keep grabbing.
I would just come out pantsless, like with a pepper shaker in front of me. Like, would you like some pepper for your salad? Actually, there was like I remember hearing a story of someone doing something similar to putting their penis in food, where I think one of our friends told us this, what was probably a made up story, Chad, but of them like going to a movie theater and like going on a date with a girl, and he like put his penis through the bottom of the popcorn bin. So then, like, as she was going to feel for more popcorn,
I'm pretty sure that was made up. Yeah, I don't think that's really ever happened.
Is this? If I know who this is this a typical that didn't happen situation?
Yeah, okay. I think so. I think so. That friend was a bit of a fibber.
That was probably. That was probably like the plot of some teen sex comedy he saw. That was like, oh yeah, and then I baked an apple pie and I fucked it.
All right.
Then the vice president of the movie theater came by and saw me doing it.
Didn't we used to always joke that there was like one kid in our high school, Novak, that like used to work at Sbarro in the shopping mall, and like I remember seeing him at the shopping mall, and he just was like looking really bored, and we used to joke that like he would just like stir the pizza sauce with his dick because they had the big vats of pizza sauce.
Oh, you know what? Here's what
I'm
the
sure
joke
he
is.
never
I
really
mean,
did
this
it.
is going real deep now, but here's what the joke was with that is when we used to always talk about what we'd do if we had a stop time machine, to where you could free everyone
That's
would
right.
freeze but you. And
That's
so
right.
of course all the inappropriate stuff we would do, like this is one of the things we thought of doing was taking this guy's dick and putting it into the sauce and like make it look like he was stirring it. Like for some reason that's how we take advantage of stopping time and space.
Guys, we've managed to invent something that could potentially change lives, save the world. Quick, let's put this guy's dick in the pizza sauce.
The power of the cosmos invested in me, and I'm going to use it to get this guy put on the sex offender registry list for the rest of his life. For no other reason than we went to high school with him. Would that have burned his dick? Is it hot enough to hurt?
I don't know.
No, I guess not, because they put it on your food.
I don't know. I never put.
Actually.
Yeah, I never put my
Yeah,
dick in
all
it,
the
so I don't know how hot it is.
You never went through with inventing that stop time machine? That'd be like one of those things where one of us like dedicated our entire life and career to inventing this machine, and finally like Eureka! And they rush over to the Sbarro, and the guy had just quit. You're like, no.
No, Novak. Remember, we did go through with it.
What
We
it
just
really
forgot to
tells
check
you
his
is
low
that
tip for burns. After
our sense of humor has not changed at all in 20 years.
Yeah, because if I had a stop time machine, that's still the first thing I would do is find somebody's dick to put.
I would go into a
pizza
strip
sauce.
mall, and there'd just be a line of employees with their dicks in the sauce. Like, oh, what the fuck? Every single fast food worker in the food court has got their dick in sauce, dick in nacho cheese, dick in a sub sandwich, whatever they're making, just all laying in the soup.
All right, let's eat our.
Fuck.
Let's eat our 5-star candy bar. Last but not least. So, Chad, do you have any background on this guy since you sent it?
Yeah. So, well, actually, speaking of hot stuff, right? I mailed you this, and like, didn't it arrive on like a 90-degree day? And like,
it was so liquidy. I don't even know how it wasn't coming out of the pack. Like, I was shocked at the packaging that it was able to hold it in because it was pure liquid. But it has since solidified. I remember you panicking and saying, "Those were $4 a piece. Freeze those things."
Yeah. So the background is after quote borrowing so much food from my work and buying stuff off clearance bins for this podcast, I finally decided to like get something nice for you guys to try. So these 5-star bars, they are $3.99 each at my local San Francisco artisanal grocery store. And spoiler alert. I bought these in an attempt to see if we could have our first basket of puppies, because I really love these things.
Said that you're gonna jinx it.
I know, but we'll see. I don't know. It could if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna blame the fact that they melted.
So you have had these already? Is that
yes?
Okay, so
yeah.
We know where you stand then. I think.
Yeah. It's an odd form factor. It's like super thick and like. And heavy. It's a bit of a horker.
I really wish they didn't put the crisp rice in. As I said, I don't understand what that's for. Everything crunch.
Oh yeah, there's crisp rice in it.
Yeah, so on the package,
but it also has peanuts in it. So
it's Lake Champlain, milk chocolate, peanut butter, salted peanuts, and crisp rice, and it's much more of a black form, like we said. So it's a different kind of eating experience. It's all much thicker.
It's a thick bar. It's filled with peanut butter, peanuts, and then like a layer of chocolate around the outside. And so the problem with me really liking these as much as I do is that they're $3.99 a bar. So like, if I want to eat, I can buy, 8 Reese's Cups for the price of one of
Right.
these or something like that.
Well, Chad, why don't
Yeah.
you go first since we already know what you're going to say? Tell us why you love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think this thing is outstanding. Like, I've been eating them a ton lately. The first time I ate it, actually, I just bought it because I was like, well, whatever, I'll try this. I actually didn't really like it at first, the first, 2-3 bites, because I was like, this is a weird form factor, right? It's, like, kind of too fat in all directions. Like, it's big and stout, chode-like, but I just kept biting it and, like, really got into the flavor. And then, yeah, something about it. Like, I don't think it's too sweet. Some of these candy bars might be too sweet. There's some nice salt in there from the peanuts. I like the crisp rice. I don't think it's overwhelming. There's not a lot of it in there. And I think the peanut butter tastes really good. So yeah, to me, it's like a really nice balance of these flavors. So yeah, I'm a easy love dat for me.
All right. This is a very good bar. It's tasty. All the ingredients are fine. I don't mind the crisp rice. It's a little inconsistent where it's placed. That's it could be because it melted. I don't know. But there's kind of the pieces are bigger. The crisp rice pieces are larger. It's not so spread out like in a whatchamacallit or something, which is one we tried where it's kind of consistent throughout. Where I think it kind of misses on the love is some of the ratios. I think the chocolate ratio is a little low, and so the peanut butter is a bit much. For me to be able to eat a ton of this is tough. Like, this is much smaller than a regular candy bar, and I'm finding it harder to get through than like a Reese's Cup or a Snicker bar or something like that. So I do think it's good. The flavors are good. It's not a home run to me, but still very good. I'm going to go with a like that. So, Geiger, unless you really don't like this at all, it's going to win the day.
Well, one word to the wise when trying to explain something that you purportedly love is to maybe not describe it as chode like. But you're gonna love this, but tastes and looks just like a chode. Great.
Look at you being all judgy against chodes.
It is a very, very strong like that for me. I will echo a lot of what Novak said. I think there's not enough chocolate to me. I do like the salted peanuts inside. I also have said before, crisp rice, I just don't get it. I know it's for texture. I just don't need it in there. It's superfluous to me. My thing is, Chad, you said you didn't think it was too sweet because of the salted peanuts. I still think I taste mostly sweet. There's not a ton of salt in there to me. And I would have liked, I think the thing I like about real peanut butter is it's got that salty, nutty flavor. And so even like Reese's peanut butter cups are a little less pure sweet to me than these are. And so because it was so big and there's so much of the peanut butter inside, I think that kind of brought it down just a little bit. But I'm saying all these negative things only to explain why it's not a love dat. I still like it a lot. It's very tasty, but not quite to the love dat level for me.
All right. But the 5-star bar with a like and 2 loves
Fair.
is a very clear winner today. So a good bar.
I will say too, they have other flavors. They have like a hazelnut and some other ones that I've tried, and their other flavors I think are like not that great actually. So for me in this case, it's the peanut flavor or GTFO.
Okay.
All right, Geiger. If the listeners would like to contact us, tell us what they think. Tell us stories of any disgusting restaurant happenings that you've seen or that you committed. Where can they contact us?
We say every week that the listeners want to contact us, and I don't think they ever do. So, listeners, if you're out there, get off your lazy asses. That's right. I'm talking to all you chodes out there. You stand up, march over to your computers, sit down again, because typing on a computer while standing is kind of weird. And email us. Tell us about have you ever dunked your balls / penis / clitoris in some food while you're at a restaurant? Also, where did you find that clitoris? Asking for a friend. No. Have you ever been in a restaurant where you suspected someone had messed with your food or heard a story about it or anything like that, or just want to talk about food in general? You can contact us at youtrydat@gmail.com. hashtag You Tried Dat on Twitter, You Tried Dat group on Facebook. We're on SoundCloud, YouTube, Instagram, Stitcher, all that good stuff. You can find us, your local iTunes store, all that good stuff. Please listen. As always, we love to hear your feedback, and thanks again, all three of you, for listening.
And speaking of 5 stars, leave us a review.
Yeah, nice tie-in.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Geiger, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So you're gonna be eating a pizza alone, right? You're bacheloring it up one night.
It's not so bad.
And you order a pizza. You order it online. You drive to the pizza place.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk in, you should see in the back of where the kitchen is a large-breasted woman putting her breasts on the pizza.
Yeah.
Right? Now, she's not going to know that you saw her. So she finishes up, boxes the pizza, and hands it to you.
Finishes up. Huh?
Are you?
Am I also finished up at this time?
Are you Are you going to call her out on it, or are you just going to eat the pizza?
So is she hot? Like, wouldn't you say large breasts?
She's good looking. Like basically, okay. I'm just seeing how much of a hound dog you are.
I mean, that's gonna be pretty hypocritical for me to walk up there with a giant erection and be like, "Don't do that." No, I mean, I definitely would have to say. I'm just picturing her walking up, just like grease dripping off her tits and stuff.
No, she put her shirt back on before she came.
What?
She put her shirt back on. I'm sure there's a guy who dipped his balls in the pizza, pulled his pants up before he went back to the counter.
No, just walk out. And the thing is, I like pepperoni, so just be 2 pepperonis sitting on both of her in place of her nipples. No, yeah, I would call her out. I mean, it would be hilarious, and I wouldn't necessarily be upset, but it'd be pretty weird. I probably wouldn't want to eat the pizza. Am I actually single in this scenario, or am I me? I just don't have my family with me.
No, you're not. You are.
Oh, okay. I mean, if I was single, I probably would have been like, "You can come and do that at my place again. I got frozen pizza and shit in the freezer. You can dot up if you want."
So the answer is that you would probably.
No, I wouldn't eat it. I wouldn't eat it. That's gross. I don't know who that person is, where those breasts have been.
I'd be grabbing Geiger and like shaking him like, "Oh, he's having a seizure." Throw him to the ground so I can eat his pizza.
All right, so Chad, a similar question for you.
Yeah.
You walk into the pizza place, and there's a guy rubbing a copy of the brand new Mega Man game all over the pizza.
Haven't played a Mega Man game in 20 years, but I'd still eat it. That's probably cleaner than his ball sack.
Probably.
I would definitely say it's cleaner than someone's ball sack. That's not a health violation. It's just odd.
Well, I don't know. It like came from the factory. There could be some factory dust.
What?
Do you know those factories
games in like a steel mill or something?
Do you guys actually know CPR? Do you have to? Probably. I have to know it for my job, so I actually do know it.
I do, yeah, I do.
But I still feel like you just practice on dummies and stuff like that. Like the idea of performing a CPR on a human still like seems pretty nerve-wracking.
Oh, I don't think I could actually do it, even though I'd had the training and like everything else. Like, I don't think I could do it. I took, I didn't take actually. My wife took infant CPR. You know, after we had
when she was a baby
kid or whatever. Yes, and like I'm terrified about ever having to do something like that. Like I would not, I don't know.
It's insane. They're like, yeah, you have to push down with like 2 fingers instead of your hand. They're like, yeah, you might break their ribs, but I'm like, what the?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys ever been the kind to like lay on the floor and pretend that you have knocked unconscious so that like a hot chick would come by and give you like CPR mouth to mouth?
From Sandlet?
Yeah, would you pull the old squints? And then it turns out like some big fat bearded guy starts doing it and you're like, oh God, I'm alive. It's a miracle. You're the greatest. And then you just run away.
I did do that one time. And then what happened was the Novak came by with his stop time machine and put that Sbarro guy's dick in his mouth.
First he dunked it in the sauce, and then he dunked it in your mouth, and you're like, oh, oregano. Oh, shit. And slapped the dick out.
They're just like news stories of like the world can do nothing about it since we have this stop time machine. Just like, oh no, another 25 food workers were found with their dicks in sauce today.
like President Trump freezes, and then when he unfreezes, like there's a gentleman laying on his podium naked with like his dick up and like sauce all over it, and he's speaking into the microphone. Like, what the fuck? It's all these various ways. It's also very specific to Sbarro.
Yeah.
Like if that chain ever goes out of business, that time machine, just throw it away.
Yeah, right. It's the Sbarro's out of business. Well, fuck this.
I suppose I should say if they're going to, if their employees keep getting caught their dick in the sauce. Well, it's only happened 37 times. We'll give them one more shot.
That was our master plan, is we just wanted to put Sbarro out of business, so we invented a stop time machine and put people's dicks in sauce.
All right. Well, let's put a stop to this episode. We will be back next time, though. We were going to be doing a episode for Thanksgiving coming up, and there'll be a Christmas episode, so make sure you keep listening through the holidays. But for now, we'll be back next time when we're trying out 3 brand new snacks.
Deuces.
Yep.